What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. If you want to see that daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell if you want to get notified every single time we upload a brand new video. Now, in this video, myself and Joshua, it's obviously the bye week for the Ravens. We are going to be doing like a mid-season kind of recap, evaluation, and discussion about the Ravens so far. Talk about some players, talk about things. It's going to be just kind of all over the place, but we're going to be talking about all of our thoughts on this team, as we have the bye week and just a good spot in the season to be able to evaluate not just where the Ravens are, but where they could be, and how they fared in comparison to what we were thinking they'd be. So, Joshua, do you have anything you kind of want to talk about as we start off, just with the Ravens at 5-2 in the bye week? Any thoughts on just like that record in general?
I mean, honestly, the 5-2 record is not bad. Honestly, I mean, I talked about it before. I don't want us to win so many games that we end up having a bye and we lose all the momentum that we've been riding on. We are a momentum team. We're not a team that needs to be rested, in my opinion. And John Harbaugh said it best in the most recent presser. Either the team can go 15-2 or the team can go 5-12. So it really falls on the resilience of these guys, what they want to really do, and how it translates onto the field. So 5-2, I'm all right with it. Everybody started losing their reign with that Cincinnati loss. I mean, hey, it's early in the season. It's not a do or die get into a playoff Ravens versus Cincinnati game that's happened in previous years. So I'm fine with it. Learn from it. We're in a bye week. Let's regroup. I like the fact that we are getting offensive linemen. I know the trade deadline is November 2nd. With a little bit of money, I don't see us making any moves. But hey, if EDC finds a way to make something happen, maybe add a defensive player that can, as a short tackler and sound, I'm for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we talked about it, in the pregame stuff, or in the preseason stuff, talking about how if the Ravens got to the bye week at 5-2, not even just the bye week, if we got to week 5 with 2 losses, that would be okay. Because we looked at it like, okay, the Chiefs, tough. Colts, tough. Chargers, tough. Bengals, a divisional opponent, which we all know AFC North opponents can be very difficult games. And then we looked at also like the Raiders, they were in the playoff hunt last year. Like there were a lot of teams in this schedule. It's the entire schedule that's difficult, but we looked at it and we were like, yeah, if the Ravens are sitting with 2 losses, even 3 losses going into the bye, they're pretty set. And I think everybody's getting caught up in this, this moment of, yeah, we just lost a game. And it happened just after the Ravens lost to the Raiders as well. Calm down. The Ravens have beaten some really good football teams, and they've played some really good football so far this season. And everybody's overreacting at the losses and not recognizing the wins that they've put up, because they've been doing a lot of good things that we wanted to see out of them, coming from behind, throwing the football. And I think the biggest thing that I think we need to bring up, Greg Roman. How has Greg Roman been this year? Has he been that guy? Has he convinced you, Joshua, that he's good for the rest of the year? Or are you still concerned about the future, concerned about the playoffs, that type of thing?
I mean, so I would say, as far as right now, the plays that he is calling up, once he finally gets a rhythm, they look a little better. But when he's calling plays, it almost seems like it's almost like he's guessing. Like, hey, all right, hey Lamar, just run this, man. Let's see what they do. If we don't get no positive yardage or not a positive impact, it kind of worries me. I mean, we're here now at the bye week, so we have no other choice but for him to see it through. The only thing I can hope for when we do make it to the playoffs is that he sticks to the game plan. If he has to make adjustments correctly, and don't force it. Just let the game come to those guys, and just keep doing what we do. Do what we did that got us into the playoffs. So I mean, right now I'm okay, but depending on how the playoffs go, I still would think it's time for us to part ways from Greg Roman.
Yeah, I feel like Greg Roman's done a better job this year than he has in years past, with the pregame plans and stuff like that. The only thing that I would say about him is it seems like he gets bored of success sometimes. I think the best example of that is the Chargers game
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens were dominating on the ground in the Chargers game, and it's just like all of a sudden it just seemed like he stopped running the football. And it's like, it's working. Keep doing it. And that's the only
Mm-hmm.
thing that I can say about Greg Roman that I haven't really liked. I think overall the play calling situationally has been better than in years past. And I feel like he's good for the rest of the year. Now, obviously, we will see about the playoffs. That's the end all be all. The problems with Greg Roman typically haven't come from the regular season. It's the play calling in the playoffs that has really hurt the Ravens, or at least we Ravens fans have believed that it was Greg Roman hurting the Ravens, and we'll see what's happening. But,
Right.
other coaching things, T. Martin and Keith Williams, we said we wouldn't be able to kind of analyze them until we got to see Hollywood Brown, because in the preseason, the receivers that were playing, we had never seen before. So we couldn't tell the impact that T and Keith had on them. Well, now we're seeing Mark Andrews in the passing game, which that's Keith Williams helping the passing game. But then Hollywood Brown, with both of them, looking at their stats, both of those guys are on pace for over 1,000 yards. Marquise at 566 yards through 7 games, and Mark Andrews at 516 yards through 7 games. And so that means that they're on pace to hit 1,000 yards in 13 games. Not 16 like a traditional season. This year was even extended to being a 17-game season.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, how much of that do you think that Keith and T have done with this team in this passing game? Do you think that they are the guys to look at, or has it been just Lamar developing as a passer?
I would say it's all around. T, he has that quarterback. He has quarterback experience, especially in college. So he knows as a quarterback where wide receivers should be. So that helps Lamar out. Lamar, every year we always see that he's always getting better and progressing. This year, to me, in my opinion, it looks like he's reading the defense a little bit more better. Of course, people will say, he's not playing Lamar's style. No, he's not playing Lamar's style. He's playing, more like, hey, I'm still going to prove it that I'm a NFL QB Lamar style. Do I agree with it? No. But have we had success with it for these past 8 weeks? Yes, we have. I do feel like now with the offensive line, if it does not get it better, he definitely will have to pull a Michael Vick almost every game, so he can stay alive, stay healthy, and continue driving the ball down the field, especially with our running game being depleted. But, like I said, T. Martin being a ex QB, he knows where wide receivers should be. So that helps out the wide receivers. And Keith, he just does he does what he does, man. He has that relationship. That nucleus of that wide receiver core is definitely a beautiful thing. I mean, most recently the guys were out, the wide receiver core. I don't know what the celebration was. I don't know if it was just them just hanging out. Unfortunately, someone that we always talk about wasn't there with the guys. Don't know why, but hey, the ones that's there, those are the ones that's really built that solid foundation. Those are the ones that really want to, really have brought into the system that's been, implemented by, Keith and T, and even, Greg Roman as well. So they definitely have had a great impact on these guys, because you see the Chris route runner, the more ability to catch, the more schemes in the passing game. So I like the impact that they're playing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both those guys have come in and done the job that we were expecting them to do, because David Culley obviously was not it. And now let's talk about some younger players. I'm thinking first and second year guys, the guys that we've actually really been able to see this year. So
Yeah.
Devin Duvernay, James Prochet, Justin Matabike. Those are the second year guys that I think we're seeing the most. And then obviously the rookies. We've seen a little bit out of Bateman. We've obviously seen Adafe away. We've seen Brandon Stevens. Really haven't seen much of Ben Cleveland or Dalen Hayes. And obviously no longer are Ben Mason and Sean Wade here. So what have you thought about those guys? Has anybody in particular stood out to you or anything like that? It could be multiple guys. What are you thinking about them?
Me personally, it would be Justin Matabuke. Just the way he's making that surge on that interior, man. And we've been talking about it. I don't know if Eric DeCosta is going to find a way to maybe structure Brandon Williams' deal, but Brandon Williams is now just a staple in a sense. He's a Raven. but he's not, active Raven. When I say he's not an active Raven, yes, he's on the field, but he's not a he's a non-active Raven that's really giving an impact on the field. He's been here for years. We love what he's done, but right now, he's becoming a relic. I'm sorry to say it. And honestly, between Justin Metabuke, the Broderick Washingtons, those guys like that, those guys are flying, under the radar, and they're busting plays up in that inside. And that's what something we really pride on. Defense is that front seven. So you need those guys that can really generate a pass rush and stop the run. And Justin Metabuke, he's been showing he can do that. So I love what he brings on the table. James Prochet on the offensive side. I'm glad he's finally getting his opportunities. His hard work in the offseason has really paid off because when he gets out there, he's showing that he can catch the ball. He's showing that he's a possession receiver. He's showing that he can get up the field. So I do like, him getting his chances and him making the best of his opportunities as well.
Yeah, I think that one thing I also want to bring up is Devin Duvernay. So in the passing game, hasn't been like crazy relevant. Now he has gotten out there a little bit, which I love to see. He's number 4 on the team in receiving. He's got only 13 receptions though, so that's not saying a ton. But the biggest thing with him I've noticed, wow, has he improved as a returner. I felt like last year he was decent at kick returning because kick returning is catching the ball and running as fast as you can pretty much. And he was good at that. Obviously, he had the kick return for a touchdown. But the punt returns, he is dramatically improved at the punt return game. I mean, he at one point, I don't know if he's still leading the NFL. He was leading the NFL in punt return yardage and like yards per return and everything like that because the dude just catches the ball and he sees that hole so quickly and he does a great job of hitting all those holes in the return game. And I think that is an underrated part of the Ravens this year has been how good their special teams has been in every aspect. The punting has been pretty solid. Kicking, obviously, we got Tucker. That's always going to be really good.
Absolutely.
Kicking defense. We've blocked a kick this year. We've got great punt returns. We've got great kick returns. Hasn't allowed any massive plays, at least that I can remember, in the special teams game. So overall, I think that is something that's really cool to look forward to in this team. And then I think you nailed it, Joshua. I think Justin Madubuike has been absolutely a monster this year. Second, I think he's been the second best player on the defensive line, and that's only because Calais Campbell has been, I think, the best defensive player on the team so far this year. But Madubuike is really showing like this is the guy that we saw late in last year that we saw in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he is really starting to take over as a legitimate threat to offensive lines. That Brandon Williams he's kind of aging out of the team. I liked how you put like he's an inactive Raven even though he still plays. Like there's a Russell Westbrook quote I believe talking about Patrick Beverley, and he's just out there, but he's not really doing anything. Like Brandon Williams is out there. Now, obviously, hopefully he improves. I love Brandon Williams. I think most Ravens fans do love Brandon Williams, but he hasn't been able to clog those holes and stop the run like we're used to, and he's never been a pass rusher or anything like that. So he's not being able to do his job, but Madubuike is just playing so well that it's kind of overshadowing the lack of dominance that we're seeing from Brandon Williams. So, yeah, I think both those guys have done very, very well this season, Duvernay and Madubuike. But in terms of the rookies, I mean, I think it's really early on Bateman. I think he's shown some good stuff. His route running, his explosiveness, that type of thing. I think it's looked pretty good. And then Odafe Oweh. What are your thoughts on Odafe Oweh? Like, it seems like he's made some big time plays for this team, but then it also seems like there's a lot of times where it's like we don't hear his name at all in the entire game. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Is that good? Is that expected? Is that better than expected?
Let's see. Because everybody's had so high expectations for Odafe. It's hard to say. It's hard to say for the simple fact, everybody, Odafe's going to get sacks. This is not Penn State, this is NFL. Yeah, we get that. I'm more than happy that he's got the sacks. I'm more than happy that he's got the strip sack. And even the fumble recovery. But these past 2 games, he lined up on Rich Slater he was also a rookie. and I forgot who was the tackles for Cincinnati Bengals. Um, but Rich Slater pretty much had him held up all day, all long. The tackles for the Bengals had him held up all day, all long. I've been said this. He has a very high ceiling. He's definitely a high developmental player. The only thing we can do is continue to work with him. And the scary thing of it is the thing I'm scared about. We see Matthew Judon up in New England actually generating the pass rush and getting the sacks. Now, we have Wink Martindale. I do feel like he's one of the best defensive coordinators right now in the league. Yes, even though, we've been having some mishaps with with the miscues on tackles, sometimes with the blown coverages, things of that nature. But for the past couple of years, when we've had the right pieces on the defensive side of the ball, we've been getting to it and we've been stopping the run and the pass game. But now you're trying to develop a young man to be one of the top defensive ends in the league, right behind Chase Young and TJ and the JJ Watts, stuff like that. I'm glad that we do have a veteran of Justin Houston, but at the same time, Adafi still has to put in the work effort because he has the. I feel like he has the ability. He has the raw talent. He's a freak of nature. He's definitely one of the specialists that can get the job done. It's just up to Adafi to put it all together, and it's going to take time. And fans have to understand. We don't really develop defensive ends the way they're supposed to be developed. So we have to understand that it's going to take time. So yes, we got him in the first round, but this can also be a high. It was also a high risk pick, and people had to understand that. So I mean, it can go one or two ways. I'm definitely hoping that he gets it together. He'd be better than like I don't see him becoming Jalen Ferguson. I definitely feel like he will be better, but it just falls down. It falls on him.
Yeah, I feel like he came on like he started off so strong, and I'm not trying to take away from him or anything like that, but like he seems like a moments guy. He may not be a guy that ever is a 20 sack season guy like that like will come out and everybody's like so afraid, but he could become I feel like this year he's been like a very late career Terrell Suggs, where Terrell Suggs will be playing in the game and you won't really remember Terrell Suggs is playing, and all of a sudden he'll get that big play, right? He'll get that strip sack, he'll get that
Yeah.
sack, and it's like all of a sudden you remember, oh yeah, Terrell Suggs is playing. I don't think defenses go against the Ravens or offenses go against the Ravens and they say, oh no, what are we going to do with Adafe? I don't think that's something that they're thinking about. However, he can go the entire game without doing anything, but because of his raw athleticism, and I think he's got great work ethic in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like he can be that guy that just gets those big time critical moment plays, especially in his young career, which he's already done so far. He's gotten some big time sacks. He obviously got the forced fumble on Clyde against the Chiefs. Like that's my thought on him so far. Like this year, he's not an amazing pass rusher by any means, but he's still a guy that can get some big time moments for him. But that's kind of my thoughts on him. Now, kind of final thing to wrap this up. What is the Ravens' biggest problem that can be fixed? Like, is there like in this bye week, you're Harbaugh, you're Eric DaCosta. Is it in-house or is it we got to get somebody else? What are you trying to do to fix a certain problem that the Ravens have? Because there are a couple issues. What do you think is the biggest one and how do the Ravens fix it?
Well, I definitely feel like the one of the biggest issues has been offensive line play, and they have been addressing that during this bye week of picking up players. So we'll see how that goes once players get elevated and understand the system and things of that nature and be plugged into play. Because honestly, I don't understand. I'm still a little mind boggled about why Ben Cleveland doesn't get as much time as Ben Powers. It stresses me out. I do, I wouldn't say nothing against Kevin Zeitler. Kevin Zeitler's been holding his own. Yes, we have seen him get pushed in the backfield. Sometimes even Bradley Bozeman. When Lamar Jackson is running around, he's looking like who's the block when you should be going upfield. Putting your big body on someone that's not wearing our jersey. But I definitely feel like Ben Cleveland on that left side brings another presence. He's a big stud. He can get out there. You won't know what you really have until you keep on getting him reps. Because like I said, in the future, offensive line, it could possibly be Ronnie Stanley, Ben Cleveland, Bradley Bozeman, Tyree Phillips, and maybe possibly a first round pick rookie at the right tackle position. So they definitely are addressing that issue. And I mean, I feel like that's one of the biggest issues. We got to keep our quarterback protected. And then the in-house thing, tackling. Um, I know they've been doing drills, but these guys just have to really wrap up, man. It falls on these guys. I think I don't know who said it in the presser, but you gotta want to tackle. You gotta want to hit. Playing defense, you gotta play with a little bit, you gotta play with more than a couple screws loose to be a good defensive player. So these guys gotta really have the will to want to actually, you know what, we're the Ravens defense. We are one of the best defenses out here. We had to shut stuff down. We're not going to let anybody come in our house, run over us, pass the ball on us. We got to get it together. So they had to change their mindset in house in order to become that stout Raven defense that we once loved and known.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are the biggest issues right now. Tackling, offensive line. Hopefully, the offensive line acquisitions. Buehi, I believe, is the name or something like that
Yeah.
of the offensive tackle the Ravens brought into the practice squad. However, it's expected that he's going to be activated. They just need to get him adjusted to the team, and also it's the bye week, so they got time to figure out who to cut or move down to the practice squad from the 53-man roster. But yeah, and then the tackling thing, that's not something that the Ravens can bring somebody in to fix. I mean, this is something that has to be done in-house. And I don't know what it is. Somebody's going to have to light a fire under everybody. I don't know who it's going to be. I'm hoping it'll be Marlon because I know Marlon, that's something that he takes pride in. And I feel like this could be the time where we really see that defensive leadership from him because the Ravens have only ever had one defensive leader in the history of the franchise. I know Terrell Suggs was great for this team, but it's always been Ray Lewis. And ever since Ray Lewis left, it's gone down. Like it's just slowly, like as more and more players that never got to play with Ray are joining this team, like it's just slowly we're like losing that tenacity that the Ravens defense used to be known for. And what I think the Ravens can absolutely get it back, but somebody's going to have to take charge. And maybe we see in that bye week somebody do it, but the Ravens don't have a guy like Mark Ingram because Mark Ingram was the guy in the locker room in that
Yeah.
19-game season that was getting everybody amped. Now I know Pernell McPhee does some pretty good pregame stuff with the Ravens. Maybe he's the guy that lights that fire, but the Ravens got to find somebody, and it doesn't even have to be a defensive player. It could be an offensive player that gets them amped up and motivated and everything like that to tackle and things like that. And I'm not saying anybody can't do it. Anybody can do it. So somebody's just got to be able to step up. One of the 53 guys, or even if it's a coach, even if it's John Harbaugh that gets that fire going, whatever it is, even if it's Miles Boykin, whatever it is.
I'll take Rob Ryan.
Yeah. If Rob Ryan can get it going, put on those pads, Rob. But is there anything else you want to bring up, in the bye week, Joshua?
I mean, just the fact that I hope these guys are getting the rest that they need. Doing some scouting reports. Enjoying family time, and also coming to still continue to come together as a team. Because even in the bye week, I know they have their time away. They still have to continue building their nucleus. I know Lamar and Hollywood are going to always be together. Like I said previously, we saw the wide receiver core all together. They was missing somebody, but not going to talk about it. But I like the camaraderie we do have. I know there is always some pieces where it's not going to always work. But for this team that have 17 people on the IR list, and we having some guys coming back, I like what we got right here. And honestly, I know Ravens fans going to talk about it. Hayden Hurst is on the trade block. I kind of low key would be open for the reunion. The thing is, what type of mindset does Hayden Hurst have at this point? in his career. The reason he left is because he wanted to be, that number one tight end. But things are changing for him in Atlanta with Kyle Pitts. But I mean, that's all I got, man. I just hope we continue doing what we do is win, win in Ravens fashion, whether it's the old way or the new way.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, make sure to comment down below your thoughts so far on the Ravens going into the bye week and everything like that. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content, and we'll see all of you again next time.